Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into something absolutely crucial for every dad out there, becoming a master communicator with your kids. We're going to explore how to turn those simple, everyday chats into real moments of connection. And a lot of our insights today come from the incredible book Fatherhood Unplugged, which I am so excited to say is officially available. It's published by Book Vibes Daily Publishing, and you can grab your copy right now on Amazon Books or by heading over to Books by Book-Vibes Daily Publishing.
So, let's start here. Does this sound familiar? I mean, life as a parent is basically a nonstop juggling act, right? You're managing work, the house, a million different things are flying at you, and right in the middle of all that chaos, your child comes up to you, bursting to tell you something. You're nodding along, sure, but in the back of your mind, you're already thinking about the next item on your to-do list.
And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? In that whirlwind of just getting through the day, are we just hearing the words they're saying, or are we actually truly connecting with them on a deeper level? That little space between just hearing and really connecting, well, that's the gap we're going to learn how to bridge today.
To get there, we're going to walk through 5 key areas. First, we'll pinpoint what that communication gap really is. Then, we'll get into the art of listening, learn how to speak with empathy, understand why vulnerability is actually a strength, and finally, we'll pull it all together to build a dialogue of trust that lasts.
All right, first up, let's really get into the difference between simply hearing what someone says and truly actively listening. They might sound like the same thing, but honestly, they are worlds apart.
You see, here's the thing. Communication isn't just about transferring data back and forth. It's emotional. The real connection happens when you start to listen for the feelings behind the words. You know, the excitement in their voice, the frustration, maybe even the fear. That's the frequency we've got to learn to tune into. So let's talk about how to build that first pillar of our communication bridge, the art of active listening. And this is more than just a technique, you know? It's really a mindset.
What's so important here is that word presence. Active listening means you actually put everything else aside for a minute. It's about noticing the little things, the slump in their shoulders when they talk about a problem at school, or the way their eyes completely light up when they share a small win. Often, those nonverbal cues tell you way more of the story than the words themselves.
So, how do we actually do this? Well, it breaks down into 3 simple but really powerful steps. First, just paraphrase what they said. Something like, okay, so it sounds like that science project was way tougher than you thought. It shows you're actually paying attention. Second, reflect their feelings back to them. Wow, it sounds like you are really frustrated by that. This makes them feel seen. And third, and this is probably the hardest one for all of us, eliminate the distractions. Put the phone down, turn off the TV. Just give them your full, undivided attention. And this perfectly illustrates what gets in our way. These are like the weeds in the garden of communication. Our phones, our mental to-do lists, even just assuming we know what they're going to say. All of it can choke out a real conversation before it even gets a chance to grow. Just being aware of these barriers is the first step to pulling them out. Okay, so once we've really learned to listen, the next step is how we respond. We need to respond in a way that builds that connection, and that means learning to speak the language of empathy. You know, if you're enjoying the kinds of experiences we're sharing here, you can find so many more insights just like this in our book, Fatherhood Unplugged. It's published by Book Vibes Daily Publishing, and you can get it on Amazon Books. It really is the ultimate guide for any father looking to turn challenges into strengths. So go to Amazon or books.buys/Book Vibes Daily Publishing and order your copy now. Empathy isn't about jumping in to solve their problem for them. It's about creating a safe space for them to feel what they're feeling. It's that simple, powerful act of just acknowledging their feelings and telling them, without any judgment, that it's okay to feel that way. This slide is so powerful because it shows you the difference in black and white. On the left, you've got conversation enders. You're overreacting. Just get over it. Boom, conversation over. But on the right, you have conversation starters. They invite your child to open up, to share more, because they know they're going to be met with understanding, not with judgment. And the real-world benefit of this is huge. When you lead with empathy, you're not just making your child feel heard, you're actively de-escalating tension. You're moving from what could have been a fight into a shared space where you can actually solve problems together as a team. Okay, let's get into what might be the most challenging part of this whole journey, but also probably the most rewarding, and that is embracing vulnerability.
For generations, so many of us as men were taught to just bottle up our emotions. We were told that showing you're vulnerable is a sign of weakness, that we have to be this unshakable pillar of strength for our family all the time.
But here's the twist. That old way of thinking is actually a massive barrier to a real connection. The truth is, being vulnerable, being emotionally open and real, is one of the most powerful tools you have to build a deep, meaningful relationship with your child. It's a strength, not a weakness.
I mean, just look at the rewards. When you're vulnerable, you're not just sharing your own feelings, you're building a foundation of trust. You're showing your kids that it's okay to have big emotions, and it's healthy to talk about them. You end up creating a family culture where nobody has to be afraid to be their true, authentic self.
And look, this doesn't mean you have to spill your deepest, darkest secrets. You can start small. Something as simple as sharing a relatable feeling like, I was pretty nervous before that big presentation at work today. That little comment opens the door. It makes you human in their eyes, and it gives them permission to share their own fears with you.
So finally, let's bring all these pieces together. Active listening, empathy, and vulnerability. They're the building blocks we use to create the ultimate structure, a dialogue of real, lasting trust.
I absolutely love this metaphor, because trust isn't something you just build once and then you're done. It's a living, breathing thing. It needs constant care. It needs patience when things get tough. It needs consistency in your actions, and it needs to be nurtured with love and respect. And these are the non-negotiables. These are the cornerstones. Being consistent, just showing up for them, always. Being reliable, keeping your promises, being honest, being transparent with them, and respecting them as individuals, honoring their boundaries. These aren't just nice ideas, they are the absolute foundation of a trusting relationship. And hey, because we're all human, we're going to make mistakes. Trust might get dented sometimes. The key isn't to be perfect, it's to be accountable. A sincere apology is where it starts, but the real repair comes from changed behavior over time. Your actions will always, always speak louder than your words.
So, we'll end with this question for you to think about. What communication bridges will you start building today? This conversation grows because of listeners like you. So please, subscribe and share this with your family and friends. And to keep this journey going, make sure you head over to Amazon Books or books.bypaws/book-vibes-daily publishing to grab your copy of Fatherhood Unplugged. And while you're there, be sure to look up another fantastic title, The Backpack Explorers Club. Thanks so much for tuning in.